Okay, so the US Open is finally over and Iga Swiatek has been crowned champion. The tournament had many ups and downs and had us on the edge of our seats. In the end though, there could only be one crowned winner and, well, as they say, the rest is history. Take a seat, sit back and relax as we take you through a tennis journey. Firstly, what exactly happened? Ons Jabeur ended her US Open run with a severe loss to the world's #1 Iga Swiatek in the final. It was truly heartbreaking to watch, however. Swiatek proved to be the better tennis player and came off the first US Open title win of her career. The whole evening was a mix of emotions depending on which player's side you were on. This marked Jabeur's second major loss of the year, as she had previously lost to Elena Rybakina in the Wimbledon final earlier this year. Four-time Grand Slam champion Kim Clijsters took notice of the up and down coming tennis stars and offered a helping hand in the form of guidance. We think this may be just what Jabeur needs, a seasoned veteran offering advice and help on how to dominate. What could be better? Clijsters talked about how she had faced struggles of her own and had eventually managed to fight off those demons and clinch her first major title in the form of the 2005 US Open title win. That would mark the first of the 4 major titles she would go on to win. Next up, what did Clijsters have to say on the matter? Kim Clijsters was quoted saying, quote, "I just told her team to let her give me a call." This tells us that the veteran is eager to get started with helping the youngster move in the right direction and start honing her skills further. She talked about how she lost 4 Grand Slam finals before she was able to clinch her first title. How it's all about hard work and having a focused goal, because that's how champions are made. Blood, sweat, and tears, ladies and gentlemen. She pointed out that as far as she could see, the 28-year-old tennis player was doing everything right and her time would come. She just needs to stay focused and keep going down the path, because the pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow and it wasn't far. She just needed to keep playing in more tournaments, build more experience in different types of courts, and hone her skills as much as possible. One of the greatest Australian tennis players to have ever lived, Wally Masur, advocated taking Kim's help. He talked about how Kim herself just needed to make tiny adjustments to her game, and that eventually allowed her to win her first Grand Slam title. He was also sure that if Ons took on call with Clijsters, everything good would come out of it and hopefully a new champion would emerge. Coming up, Wally Masur had a bunch to say about the recent US Open. Masur stated that he was getting increasingly frustrated watching young and upcoming stars such as Ons Jabeur let title opportunities slip from their grasp, and he was sure that they just needed a push in the right direction and they'd be gobbling up trophies left and right. He commended Swiatek on being the most dominant player on the court right now and gave her the credit she deserved in terms of winning the Grand Slam title this year. He believes that the younger stars just need a bit of guidance on how to handle situations like these when they're under a tremendous amount of pressure. For him, if you remove the nerves, you automatically get a new world-class player, maybe even the next Serena Williams. He talked about being able to help keep the scoreboard pressure through your serve. He noted how the biggest struggle was most players facing in this tournament, that was the fact that they were under pressure. Their second serve would immediately go off the rails. He reprimanded the coaches, stating that it was their responsibility to take care of that and make sure that nothing like that ever happens again. He said that every one of the players that succumbed to the pressure in this year's US Open could be a top 10 player. However, they just couldn't hack it when they needed to. Finally, what happens next? Well, folks, we're not psychics, so we can't predict whether Ons Jabeur will go through with taking the advice of a tennis legend such as Kim Clijsters, but we can tell you for sure that if she does, she'll come out a better player than ever before. Pieces of advice like these are hard to come by, so to ignore it would be wiser on Jabeur's part. We do not doubt her tennis ability and her ability to surprise us at times by beating even the world's best players. However, she's still learning, and if nurtured correctly, she can come out on top in even the next tournament she plays in. With the backing of a tennis legend such as Wally Masur, there's nothing in her way. Of course, as Wally Masur pointed out, sometimes all a player needs is for someone to look them in the eye, be brutally honest, and tell them where they're going wrong. If there's anything to take out of this whole debacle, it's that Ons' coaching staff needs to sit her down and have a serious talk with her about her future and potentially upgrading her as a player, both in capability and mental strength. It's always important to remember that at the very core, an athlete's success depends upon their mental fortitude and how they're able to handle themselves in the most stressful of situations. If Ons can take all of this and truly understand it, nothing is standing in the way of her path to stardom. Next, in other news, Simona Halep had to undergo surgery. Popular tennis star Simona Halep recently underwent nose surgery after she claimed she was finding it hard to breathe. Considering tennis is a very physically taxing sport, we're just glad she managed to catch whatever was wrong in time before something happened for the worst. It could have been really bad. Watching an athlete with so much left in them having their career come to an end because of something something like that could have been prevented. She was formerly the world #1 before Iga Swiatek dethroned her and took her place. She managed to nab a Canadian Open title back in August, however, she suffered a surprising first-round loss to Daria Snigor at the US Open. The two-time Grand Slam winner opened up and talked about how she'd been struggling with nose problems for quite a while and had been finding it hard to breathe. Thankfully, though, she and her team decided to take any chances, and she underwent a successful nose surgery and will be taking a few weeks to get her strength back up before she's ready to get back out there. Up next, Alexander Zverev pulls out of the Davis Cup due to an injury. German tennis star Alexander Zverev had to opt out of the upcoming Davis Cup due to an ankle ligament damage that he suffered during his French Open matchup against Rafael Nadal, and he hasn't been back on court since. Fans had hoped to catch him playing for his country ahead of their Davis Cup matches against France, Australia, and Belgium. He recently announced on social media that he had a bone injury that would further sideline him for weeks or maybe months on end. The tennis star talked about how it was a personal dream of his to represent his own country in the Davis Cup, which coincidentally has happened in his hometown of Hamburg. The sad reality that had to, unfortunately, hit him, that he would be unable to play, was a tough but necessary pill to swallow. However, they say a true athlete never gives up, and so he went on to further state that he would continue his stay at Hamburg and support his team from the bench. Finally, Carlos Alcaraz comes home with a US Men's Open title. It's every young tennis player's dream to one day be considered the best in the world and win a Grand Slam title. Carlos Alcaraz did just that as he managed to defeat Casper Ruud in the final. Alcaraz surged through tennis rankings at an alarming pace over the last 3 months and was finally able to take Daniil Medvedev's place as the #1 tennis player in the world. He talked about how he dreamt of this moment since he was a child and was ecstatic seeing it finally come true. That too, at such a young age. He's the youngest Grand Slam winner in the men's division since Rafael Nadal back in 2005. He pulled off an amazing display, completely overpowering Casper Ruud to win the trophy. We mean, the craziest part is that the man is only 19 years old. He's a teenager who just ended up winning it all. It's truly insane to think about. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Ons Jabeur will make a mind-blowing comeback? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.